So, we've invested in a bunch of consumer companies. 70% of our funds actually get invested in consumer businesses. But, those are all businesses, Ritu, which are very scalable. So, our latest deal that we've done in consumer is actually in apparel. What you read about Burger King was the deal before that. So, we're getting Burger King into India. India is actually very far behind in terms of our consumer intensity across categories. So, I will give you an example of Sula wines. We invested in Sula. Even today, when we invested in Sula, Rajiv Samant, who's the CEO, used to tell us that, the average consumption of a French person per year is 7 bottles of wine. And the average consumption in India per person is about a teaspoon every year. So, that's the opportunity. And, maybe that teaspoon has become 2 tablespoons now. But, over the last 7 years, it's still 2 tablespoons. So, we invested in Burger King. Now, there are 2 parts. You look at the McDonald's and how they've scaled in India. 350 to 400 sort of in the west and south, 350 to 400 north of India, each valued at $1 billion. And Burger King is one of those sort of very, very premium and one of the last large brands not to yet have come into India. So the thing that we look for is scale, is very large scale, things that can really scale fast across the country, ideally backed by a strong entrepreneur who's got skin in the game. Sometimes when we don't find these things, we are happy to sort of go in and build these businesses ourselves, like in the case of Burger King. In F&B, the 60% of Indian retail, by the way, is in actually food and groceries. So, since we, as a foreign fund, we really can't invest in groceries, because it will be multi-brand retail. So, that leaves us, if you want 60% of Indian consumption, Indian retail basket is actually F&B. So, from that perspective, we've invested in a bunch of assets. We invested in Blue Foods, which is Copper Chimney, Gelato Italiano, Spaghetti Kitchen, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. We bought Pind Baluchi, which is a local Delhi brand. We bought in Burger King. So while food is important, food is not the end all for retail and not the end all of sort of interesting areas. As Ritesh was saying, it's really differentiated niche, but it can't be that so niche that it finds it hard to scale up. For example, we've looked at gourmet foods. Still a very tier 1, top 2 metros, maybe 4 city model yet. So the way we look at businesses, Ritu, is actually in terms of we'll take a slightly different lens. We look at every business in terms of, is it a 2 city, which is Bombay plus Delhi model, or is it an 8 city model, or is it a 28 city model, or is it an 80 city model? Because we really don't look at beyond 80 cities. So every model we look at, we would like to go to things which are basically between 28 to 80 city kind of models. The 2 to 8 models are not scalable enough for us.